Finally moves from 11th to 6th overall on special stage 2. He said it was very, very dusty. Sometimes he couldn't see the front. You can see the dust hanging here in the trees. That is where it tends to be worse without the breeze to move it. And even worse here for Dan Gertefan, Romanian driver in a Fabio ERC 2000. 12th on the road, lost an enormous amount of time behind Vitaly Pushkar. He had brake issues. And you can see he just can't push at all. He said at the end of the stage, I caught him for 5 kilometres. That was a shot of Pushkar you saw there. Can't see a thing. He said it's very hard. I lose a lot of time here. Very, very clear to us, even from outside the car. Graphics of the standings after special stage 2. Bouffier leading by 1/10 of a second from Delacour. Kopecky. Some of the local drivers, Arai up in 6th place. Tempestini, Gertefan, and the other Tempestini rounding out the top 10. Fantastic shots there of a very, very beautiful city centre at Sibiu. Teams are back in the service park for a 30-minute service. Bouffier leading by just 1/10 of a second.
We're driving in a safe way. I think we need to take care of our car. We need to watch out for punctures. That's what we're doing. We're having fun. It's a great fight. Not so much fun for Kopecky, losing the lead with that power steering issue on special stage 2.
It was quite difficult because when you go over the stones or rocks, you know, you are almost losing the steering wheel out from your hands, so it was not easy. I was driving very smooth without the sliding, and finally we didn't lose so much time.
So Kopecky's car into the service area, and the team have decided they're going to change everything on the steering. The pump, the lines, the rack, the lot. Belt and braces, routine job for Skoda Motorsport, of course. Everybody well drilled in just exactly what they have to do. All the subframes and components you can see already built up, which saves time. It's just a straight swap between the two. Clock ticking the seconds away. Job done, quick check that all the fluid's moving in the right way and away. And Kopecky leaves with 2 spare tyres, as do both his rivals, Bouffier and Delacour. Special stage 3 and 4. Second run of both stages. On the one hand, some of the gravel will have been swept. On the other hand, the roads will be even rougher, particularly, of course, in the braking zones and the corners. Dobarka 2, 6.92 kilometres. Jan Kopecky, the car is all fixed up. And he's pushing again. He was 10.9 seconds behind the leader Bouffier at the start of the stage. And sets a time of 4 minutes 15.3, 8.6 seconds faster than his run over the same stage earlier on in the day. Brian Bouffier was the leader before this stage, 1/10 of a second ahead of Delacour. He decided to change the ride height of the 207 during service. Gone 25 millimetres high. You can actually see that. The car's standing very much higher on its suspension. He did say it was touching the ground less, but that it was now moving about a bit too much. So in an attempt to combat the rough roads, and look how rutted they are there. Just compromised the handling a little bit. 4:16.2. He's 10.5 seconds faster than his first run. 0.9 seconds slower than Kopecky. Delacour, 10th behind Bouffier at the start of the stage. No changes on his car during the service. Pushes quite hard. 4 minutes 17.9. He's 5.8 seconds faster than on his first run. Simulcan then between the two French drivers in the 207s. Delacour with the green wing to separate the two cars when they're together in the shot. Bouffier's car moving around a little bit more. You can see there in particular, Bouffier's rear end steps out and Delacour is able to carry more speed and just get slightly away. Vitaly Pushkar in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10, he loses 5 minutes on special stage 2 with brake problems and drops to 21st position overall. And he hits back on this stage with a 4th fastest time. Valentin Porsistenu, Romanian driver, battling for the 1st position with Coletti, of the Romanian drivers that is. 6th fastest on the stage. He's 4th overall and he is the top Romanian driver at the minute. Edwin Coletti, 5th fastest time, beats Porsistenu by 1.4 seconds on this stage. 5th overall, 18.2 seconds behind him, and 2nd in the Production Cup.
5 left plus over 40.
Toshia Rai with his pace notes in English. 10th fastest time, very happy with the grip. 6th overall and 3rd in the Production Cup. Next up is the 2nd run of Krint. It's that long and demanding stage that caused so much trouble earlier in the day. Join us in a few moments. Next up is the 2nd run of the grueling Krint stage. But first of all, we're going to have a quick look at the 2-wheel drive competition. Zoltan Bessenye in the Honda Civic R3, currently leading the 2-wheel drive championship, had a bad start in his first Sibiu rally, loses more than 5 minutes with a puncture. Has to stop and change the wheel on stage, so probably in that long stage. 9th in the 2-wheel drive cup after special stage 5. Cornel Lukacs takes the lead in the 2-wheel drive cup after special stage 2. He could reduce the points gap to Bessenye in the championship, but he drops back after an air filter problem, stops the car in fact to empty the air filter on the C2R2, no air getting into the engine, and then retired after special stage 4, so possibly something more terminal than a blocked air filter in the end. Alexandru Filip, Romanian driver in a Clio R3 Maxi, leads the 2-wheel drive cup after special stage 5, and he's 6.5 seconds ahead of Radu Badina in another Citroen C2R2. Decent entry of 2-wheel drive cars. We have a ladies' trophy as well, of course. This is Molly Taylor, who competes with Seb Marshall alongside her. 2nd in the ladies' trophy, 4 points behind Ekaterina Stratieva. Unfortunately for Molly, scored no points in Azores or Ypres after an accident, so needs big points here in Sibiu. Manages to survive the first 5 stages, and I think really that's what you've got to do on an event that's this rough when you're running further down the field. Ekaterina Stratieva in the C2R2 leading the ladies' trophy after Ypres crashes out of the rally on special stage 2. So a good chance for Taylor then to take the lead. Fantastic shots of the sort of countryside you get to compete in if you're into your rallying. Some wonderful parts of the world that you just don't get to see with other motorsport. Not much time to look at it for Jan Kopecki though. 2nd pass in the rough stage. Deep ruts, big rocks. He said he was driving around them. Second fastest time for the championship leader. He has to attack to come back at Delacour and Bouffier.
It's very rough, you know, we have deep ruts with a big stone, so some places I have to just go around the big rocks not to make any problems with the puncture or with the car.
You could almost see Kopecki stretching his neck higher than normal, just desperate to pick a line in the road. Avoid some of the bigger ruts and rocks. Bouffier, big drama for the event leader. much worse than Kopecky. Stops the car, there he is on the left-hand side of the road. Double shock absorber failure. And there's a rye coming through, so 2 cars passing in. Bouffier's hopes of winning the Sibiu rally are over after 5 kilometres in stage 4. Drama continues for the French drivers. After Bouffier, Delacour is in trouble as well. Problem with the engine.
I have a problem with engine.
Overheating?
Yeah, I think so. Or a leak or something like that.
Apparently a very strong smell of antifreeze coolant from the engine around the car at the end of the stage there. Toshio Rai, 3rd in the production standings, 6th overall. Before special stage 4, he's running 4th on the road. Comes to the end of the stage, he's had a problem too. The Subaru is stuck in 4th gear. Despite that, he moves up to 3rd. And this is why Edwin Coletti, 5th on the road, 2nd in the production cup and 5th in the standings before stage 4. He's losing time in the dust clouds, being thrown up by Arai. Valentin Posistenu, 4th overall leader of the production cup. He suffers broken rear suspension halfway through and slips to 3rd in the category, losing 4 positions in the overall standings. Next up was the Super Special, only 3.5 kilometres long. First run of it, it was won by Kopecky. He was 0.4 of a second faster than Delacour, shucking the 207 around. Arai continued to drop time with the gearbox problem. And Posistano as well with that broken rear axle. It's time at service to fix the cars of Delacour and Arai. Had to slow down in stage 4. I quickly realised it was the water. I slowed down, the alarm went off. It went on again at the end of the stage, then I really did slow down. And we had a litre of drinking water in the car and it went okay. Put it into the engine. Not a major leak. And we did stage 5 in good conditions. A lot of work on Arai's Subaru. The Stoll Racing mechanics replaced the Impreza's gearbox. The Japanese driver had to complete 2 stages with 1 gear.
Stick the 4th gear, so very difficult uphill, especially in the hairpin. We cannot use the 1st gear, 2nd gear, 3rd gear. So already use clutch and everything, and especially, and also in the last stage, in the super special stage, quite small bend. So we lost maybe 1 minute or more than 1 minute. So, but still here, and I'm happy now.
So still enjoying himself despite all of that. Well, there were 2 more night stages tonight, but they were too late for us to be able to bring you the pictures of those. This is how they stand: Kopecky, Delacour and Coletti overall after leg 1. 15 seconds between Kopecky and Delacour. Definitely not over yet. It might be a case of who can survive those roads tomorrow. There'll be more from leg 2 then. We'll see you on Eurosport tomorrow.